in the schedule. Nights I can survive, days I can get through. I gotta make this end soon. It's 9 to 5 prison. Wear a fake smile just to hide how I'm feeling.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So, where are we at?
We're at the apartment.
The temple.
The temple, the place of music.
All right. So this is where you start preparing your stuff, where you write down your ideas, maybe dabble down with the samples?
I mean, I've lived here since like May, so I'd already like started the majority of the songs. If we're talking about like the album, but like yeah, a whole bunch of new tracks. But like yeah, for Don't Look Down, I mean, it was like really like the finishing stages, like the last like quarter. But yeah, I mean, this is where I do it. Like I record all the rough vocals here, like all the instrumental parts and stuff, and then like I redo it at the studio usually. That's how it goes.
Great.
Yeah.
So we left off last time we were speaking about how rap wasn't so serious at first. It was around you, but you didn't really notice it that well. And then a 10th grade school project came up.
Yes, that's
Tell
true.
us about that.
The 10th grade school project?
Yep.
All right, so like I'd been in bands, so I was doing music really heavily, and this like project, I forget what it's called, it's like a media class. It was like a fucking around class. You know, everyone does their little like creative projects. Really cool though. Shout out Mr. Alberts, and then really chill ass teacher. And me and my boy Cameron were in the class, and we started for the final project. You could do anything you wanted, and so we thought it'd be funny to do like a rap parody, and. So yeah, we made this like beat and stuff in class. We did like a bunch of it in class. We filmed it around school, and then yeah, that was pretty much it. Like we released it around the end, and people thought it was hilarious. Some people didn't know if you were serious or not. Yeah, it's out there somewhere.
And so, we have our hands on it.
Oh shit.
Oh, we do.
Fuck.
It'll be in. And so, from what we understand is that people actually started liking this video and told you, hey man, this is actually not bad at all. And this is where it clicked in your head, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised with how much I enjoyed doing it in the first place. And I was like, I produced it, and it was the kind of, I just hit the mic. It was like the first video I actually made. It was the first beat I actually made and the first video. So I really enjoyed it, and then like, put it out. Yeah, we got interesting responses. Like some people were actually like, yo, I was bumping this in the shower and stuff like that. And I was like, what? You were bumping my beat in the shower? And I thought about like the amount of effort I had put into it as like a project in like, I'm saying like a bunch, as a project in a really chill class. And I was thinking, you know, if I really put some good stuff out, it would be even better. It took me a while to really like come around and give that sort of effort to like rap. Because I was playing piano and I was singing and I was in band class, so I was doing a lot of bass clarinet. So I was into the music already, but it took me a while to translate that into my own productions. So when I was making that video, I know that I used skills that I had with like my voice and everything and writing, because it was something I was already doing. But it took me a while to like be like, oh, okay, I used that in this, and if I apply more of that, I can make better things. I was really just fucking around.
And then, so that's what's kind of amazing, right? It's like, you're just fucking around, you're just looking around, trying yourself out.
Yo, but the fucked up thing is that it makes a lot of sense, but we released that video and it got like, not actually a lot in terms of like, you know, things now, but it got like 30 likes on YouTube and like 300 views in a day. And the teachers made us bring it down, Mr. Erickson, Mr. Alberts, because they were scared it was going to get too many views. And looking back, that was a bit of like a, like keeping the flame down of a child's dreams, trying to burst with creativity. So that's kind of weird, but it made sense sort of, because they were worried that they were like, no, it's gonna like get in the newspaper. They were telling us this, I remember so specifically, and they made us. They were like, we're gonna watch you go on YouTube and delete this video off YouTube. So we go on, they're watching me enter my password into YouTube and delete the fucking video because they were worried. And it was funny looking back, because it was like, nah, like we think we can get 10,000 views. And then I remember Mr. Erickson saying, that's what we're scared of. We're scared of it getting too many views. And they're like, oh, it's gonna be in the paper that like we like okayed this and everything. And I didn't look at it as a big like outrage, like, oh, you're like killing my thing. I was kind of like, man, fine. But looking back, it's a bit like, I wish we didn't delete it, because then we had to like re-upload it and it lost a bunch of its pizzazz. But it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, and then, I mean, that did happen, but then you fast forward to right now, and we look at Don't Look Down, the album that you just dropped, and wow, the progress.
Hopefully I didn't peak at that first video.
I know.
It's just been going down. I plateaued early. It's just.
So let's talk about Don't Look Down a little. So what
Alright.
what is the inspiration behind that album?
The inspiration behind the album was really, I don't even know if I can like pinpoint it in like a really direct way to my life or anything, but like, I mean, all of it's super real and everything comes from like of things that I've experienced and stuff. But like, what do you mean inspiration? Like to make it, or to like the subject matter? Like, what do you mean inspiration?
Yeah, the subject matter. It's like,
Okay.
I listened to your album, right? And I
Okay.
get a really strong feeling from it. Someone that's like discovering different parts of himself in different parts of the world and trying to assimilate themselves so that it's like, okay, so how does this all fit in together? And that's what I understand from this album, and I can relate to that part of it, right?
Definitely.
And so my question to you is, how do you get that sort of idea, that frustration of like having your question unanswered, and do you write the album to answer it? Or maybe do you ask the questions in hopes that people will answer you?
Yeah, so I wrote these songs when I mean, it's really like normal stuff for someone who's 19, 20, just going through like shitty stuff or whatever. Like what things happen, you're like young, you don't have your foot in the ground in terms of like money or a place to live or whatever. Maybe you're still living off your parents, maybe you're just working off a shitty job like I was. And so one thing with music I always realize is I can write like 20 drafts of a song, but the only things that I'll keep are ones that like I know. And when I know, I know. So it comes from like, so I write like a bunch, I can write like bars about like all this kind of stuff, and I do it when I'm freestyling, and it's easier for me like to write like braggadocious kind of things, but it's never something that I'll keep there. I write it to like, in terms of keeping the rhyme structure, the flow, and then I always end up going back. So if I was to like look at it from just like analyzing it as a whole, I would guess that it comes from asking the question and then just keeping the instrumental on repeat in my headphones until something comes up. But I would say that album's a lot of, it's not a lot of answering questions. It's a lot more asking than answering, I find. Because at the end, in the last verse, I'm saying I still don't know what I'm doing. And that's talking, well, I don't want to go too deep into like the meaning. I don't know if the world's ready for that shit, but like I say like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm still doing it. Which is exactly how I felt. It's like I made this whole thing, and I don't know if I actually answered any questions, but I definitely asked a bunch. Like I kind of just sprawled out all the frustration and stuff that I was feeling, because like I was going through a lot of stuff, and I was discovering a lot of things about just like love and life and what I really wanted. And I feel, even since I released it, I feel much like clearer about that now, especially listening back to it. I think I'm more in a place of answering the questions. So I think the next project will have like a very, very different tone to it. But yeah, most of it's just asking. And I was really, I write them over such a long period of time that like, it's hard to pinpoint where exactly it comes from, Yeah. I'll have a bar here, a bar there, and I kind of like fill in the blanks as I go along. Try not to force it,
Totally. And so actually, from your album, when I look at all the songs that you made on it, I look at Calling Chi Chi, right?
Yeah.
And I look at this song, and I'm not gonna hide it's my favorite, but I look at this song, and when I hear it, it seems like this song has a lot more questions to it. It's a lot more heavy.
Yeah.
And so I wanna, does this, like, the album is great, and I really understand this message that you're sending out. But the one that really hits me is Call Chi Chi, because the way you use the instrumentals over such like, it's kind of like you're citing out the problems, but you're joking about the problems. It's like, hey, look what happens here, but I could just like look over there. So tell me about Call Chi Chi.
I said it's true, my nigga said it's true, they don't get it. My nigga said it's true, they don't get it. Only one life, what you gonna do now with it?
Okay, so Calling Chi Chi, it comes right after Everything's Better When You're Stoned, which is kind of it's being ironic, because the whole the whole thing is like is that it's that like high where you're just like, oh fuck, there's so much, like just overwhelmed with things. You're like, who's this thing? You know, your mind's just going crazy, and you just want to like just stretch and maybe not be high anymore. And calling Chi-Chi, the concept of that is like me going on a walk in my head when I wrote it. And that's one of them that came across. I wrote it on like a bus trip back, and I listened to that fucking. When I first wrote it, it was like a really shitty loop, which is what I usually do, where it's like super simple, like bass, drums. I lay out that, I do the structure, and then slowly I add more layers. But when I wrote that, I promise you, I listened to this fucking loop, dun, 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 no guitar, nothing, for 6 hours straight. It was the entire ride from Montreal to Toronto on a bus. And it was a time when I was really like, there was a lot of personal things happening with like friends and family and that kind of stuff. And I was just I was in that like mode where I was like, all right, I'm going to Toronto. Like at least I'm doing something, I'm going somewhere. And I'm trying to like describe it well. So basically the concept for the song is that it starts off with like me it's like when you smoke and you think of being like less bold, so you don't want to be as like adventurous, so you can be kind of, you know, when you're kind of like inside yourself and you don't want to like make a big splash, you don't want to you don't want the spotlight to be on you, so kind of like, do I leave or stay? Think I got to make the choice, think I got to change my ways. I've been smoking, probably just paranoid. So I'm actually talking about dialing back the ambitions with music, because there was a time when I dropped out of school, I'd stopped going out as much, like drinking, I'd stopped seeing my friends in like as healthy of a way. So it was thinking, well, maybe I should just, and I was thinking maybe I should just act like a normal 20-year-old. Maybe I should be in university and partying and doing all those things that I see everyone around me doing. But I was in a point where it was really hard for me to justify any of that, because I wasn't where I wanted to be with music. And I had a big chip on my shoulder. I really wanted to make it happen. I wanted to make it happen yesterday. And so every day was like, yo, I gotta make this music happen. How can I go out if I want this music to crack? How can I do this if I want? How can I go on vacation? I was having like a really kind of tough summer with just a lot of doing dishes and a lot of just thinking in your own head and bongs. And so I was just saying like, maybe I should, like, this kind of sucks. And maybe people party and they're in school for a reason, because that's what everyone's doing. So I was thinking, man, maybe I should just do it. Think I gotta change ways. I've been smoking, probably just paranoid. I still hear the voices say it's time to grow, live less excessive, maybe take it slow. And I'm kind of putting a spin on where I'm saying less excessive is like living less excessive, take it slow, like take the music slow and actually be excessive with partying. I'm stoned, probably just overthinking. When the week's over, we'll be over drinking. So I'm kind of like surrendering to that sort of 20-year-old life. Man, maybe I should just go to Toronto. Maybe I should just be with my friends and not be such like a crazy artist and try to pull off this thing. And then the song kind of progresses where I get crazier and crazier. So it goes to the chorus, and the chorus, so there's 3 choruses, and each chorus I try to like paint a picture with the verse before. So the first chorus I'm actually singing about like partying and turning up, and then the second chorus I'm actually talking about like going for your dreams. So it's the same words, but I wanted to like the context to be completely different. So then it goes from the first verse to the chorus, and then there's that bridge where I'm like, the haters are talking to me, fuck the haters, and they're like, don't give it up, so that I'm just living life to my best, and I'm like, fuck it, and I'm just thinking like, fuck all that shit I was talking about turning it up. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it big, and I'm gonna try my best. Fuck all that shit, because I heard people, because like that's exactly what it was like. I was thinking, man, maybe I could just go back to school, and then like that chip on my shoulder would act up, and I'd be like, oh, I can never do that. I got to do this. I got to. And I'll just completely disregard any sort of like going medium with it or just slowing down at all. So I was like, fuck it, vibe. Like, y'all can't tell me that. And that was like super real to me at the time. And then the verse comes, who knows? And ask me why we live like this. Who knows, my nigga? It's like, it's kind of different context in the first verse. And then by the end, I just wanted it to be like going crazy with it, which is when I could get like really worked up about like going for my dreams, and it'd just be going crazy. Save my soul, and it was just like me. It was like a perfect like illustration of me just feeling like like when I was at the height of like I'm gonna do music, like fuck everyone, and it was like frustration. It was all these sorts of emotions, and then it goes to the verse again. So that's calling Chi-Chi.
All right, great.
It's not that deep.
Okay, so from your social media these days, we can see you're really acting up with the band.
Yeah. Shout
tell
out
us
Maxime, Seth, Patrick, Andy, and Casper. Swing by.
So what's happening with Simba? Why this sudden peak? Ooh, we got the merch.
Oh yeah, we got the merch. We got. Yeah, you want me to tell you about the band?
Yeah, man.
I met them all on Craigslist. Usually I'm just there for sex work, but this time I was like, yo, I'm gonna hit up the band. And so, yeah, I found like these 5 dope guys. There's been a few lineup changes, you know, but right now we got a really solid group. We're practicing at this interesting place with lots of character up in like northern Montreal. It's going awesome, man. We got saxophone, keyboard, bass, drums, guitar, like the whole thing.
So what are we practicing for? A band album?
Well, I've been trying to like think. I don't know if you can see the bookshelf. I read a lot of Gary Vee, and he always talks about like reverse engineering. And I was trying to think what makes me like other artists. Kind of reverse, because I feel like I'm in a spot where I'm like, all right, I don't have the full product, but I have a product that could be bigger than it is right now. So how would if I was a listener, well, I am a listener, why do I listen to an artist? Why do I give an album a chance? Why do I go to certain shows? So I'm trying to like reverse engineer, like, okay, if I was in Montreal and I like the kind of music that I make, would I even know who I am? And how would I get to know an artist? What would make me go on Spotify and be like, all right, listen to Casey Burns, or I'll look at his video, or oh shit, you know what, I'll buy a hat. I fuck with that dude. So I'm trying to think from there. And one thing I love is live music, and I've caught myself thinking, oh, I wish like so many more artists would do the live band thing and record it on YouTube or something, or have it at shows. So I was thinking, well, why the fuck don't I do that? And I have a background full of like live music and in like rock bands and everything. So I can never fully justify like just having the DJ set at things. So I always knew I needed the band, and I guess the whole reverse engineering thing made me want it to happen, like not wait around for it to happen, just kind of make it happen, because I wanted to think, well, what would make me really fuck with an artist? And I would love to see like, not that this doesn't happen, it totally does, but a local artist with a band, like a local hip hop artist with a band. I'm sure there's tons, you know, but I would like to see that as a fan. So I was thinking, all right, well, make me a fan of me, you know, do things that I would want a fan of myself to want. So that's part of it. And so we're getting really tight. It's coming along really well. They're all like professional musicians. So we want to do like a whole set, don't look down kind of thing. I don't know what I'm going to call it, but
Great. That's
yeah.
awesome to hear.
Yeah, man. I'm really pumped with it. I don't know, man. I'm trying not to rush anything. But our first show is April 7th. I don't know. Yeah.
Nice.
A lot of people will be watching this after that happened, but yeah, it's going to be fucking sick, man. It's going to be dope.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, man. Well, thank you so much for having us here.
Yeah. Any more questions? You want me to rap or anything? Or?
No, it's actually, if you have any upcoming projects you want to talk about, let people know.
Well, okay, I'll say it now. Or high water. That's all I'm going to say, those 3 words. The live oh, high water. High water. And I don't know, I might change that name. But